I want Pickles to be healthy. Um, that hasn't happened fully since 2019. But another person who's not going to be healthy is Trevor Story of the Boston Red Sox. He underwent basically an accelerated version of Tommy John surgery. It's called an internal brace procedure. It's meant to repair the UCL. It normally keeps players out 4 to 5 months, but the Red Sox say he's questionable for the season. Um, this is bad.
Very.
Like, does this steps? All right, I'm gonna ask you this: does this happening eliminate the Boston Red Sox?
From playoff contention?
Yes. A guy the Dodgers brought in was Miggy Rojas from the Marlins. I love him. He started his career as a Dodger. He made a great play in Clayton Kershaw's no hitter. Like he made the play. Like every no hitter, every perfect game has the play.
What's that?
Miggy Rowe made the play. And then, Hanley Ramirez decided to make an error in the ninth inning, which cost Kershaw a perfect game. But that's besides the point. The Dodgers acquire middle infielder Miguel Rojas for shortstop Jacob Amaya. I like this move. I'm pleased. I think the Dodgers have made some questionable moves that I understand this postseason. I understand wanting to go under the salary cap. Um, I'm happy about this. I like Miggy Rowe. I think he's going to play everyday shortstop. He's a bat and ball type bat, which is going to be really good at the bottom of the lineup. He doesn't really hit the ball that hard and he struggles with fastballs, but you know what? Dodgers are known for improving batters and their ability to hit fastballs, but he's a veteran. This might just be who he is, and that's fine. He's one of the best gloves in the league, and he's a fantastic clubhouse presence.
100%. I agree. The Marlins have made what this is their fourth move, and we'll
Sounds
talk
right.
about we'll talk about their third move in a second. But we wanted more from the Marlins, and they've went out and they signed one bat. They had another pretty inconsequential trade. This trade to them is pretty inconsequential, and then they signed a pitcher who we'll talk about shortly. But they really didn't address any of their needs at like this point in time this offseason, and I'm 100% disappointed in the Marlins offseason. The Dodgers, I think, come out on top in this scenario. Like they get a guy, Miguel Rojas. Yeah, he kind of had a down season, a down couple of seasons, but he is very, very good. And so let's round back to the Marlins again, like I'm talking about. So they got a guy in Jacob Amaya. He clearly seems somewhat expendable to the Dodgers. He will most likely to the Marlins. Why I say I think they lose this trade, serve as kind of a bench bat. Who Miguel Rojas was kind of already. He was serving as kind of your everyday shortstop, and now you're trading him for a bench bat. He had a 14% walk rate in 2022 in the minors, and a 91 WRC plus in the 2023. Like that's his projections. He'll fit well with the Marlins, but I think I I just don't like the Marlins offseason, and this is just another nail in the coffin for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the veteran presence of Miguel Rojas can't be understated. He was
Yes.
a leader in this clubhouse, and you traded Miguel Rojas old for Miguel Rojas young.
Yes.
I don't know how good of a glove Jacob Amaya is. I'm not that familiar with him as a Dodger fan, which is on me. But again, that kind of proves the point that he was kind of expendable. Um, I think that the Marlins made this move in hopes of just getting someone young that's a bat. Sure, you know what? He could come up and he could get on base a lot. And that might have value to a team like the Marlins. But the value that Miguel Rojas will bring the Dodgers will outweigh Jacob Amaya's value to the Marlins this season in any way possible. Because remember, Rojas is only signed for this year. He wasn't going to get an everyday playing opportunity in Miami, especially with the addition of Gene Segura.
Yep.
Now, Rojas in his walk year will have an opportunity to be an everyday player. That doesn't inherently mean that. He could still split time with Gavin Lux, or Gavin Lux just moves to second base. And we're looking at Rojas and Lux up the middle, which I'm fine with. I think having good defense up the middle could be really beneficial to some young pitchers on the mound for the Dodgers. I don't know, again, where Amaya is going to be when you have Joey Wendell at third, Gene Segura at short, and Jazz Chisholm at second. Are they going to send him to the minors, or are you just going to put him on the bench and not really let him develop?
So I will say this, right? If you do just kind of have him up in kind of like a platoon type of role, that might be beneficial to him to learn from a guy like Gene Segura. Like that might be pretty helpful. But just overall to his career, again, you could have him play in the minors for a little while and then see how he plays there, then pull him up, stuff like that. There's a lot you can do with him. I just at this point in time, I dislike the move. I mean, apparently they saw something in him and enough to go out and try and trade Miguel Rojas for him, who again, like Brad said, was a very good clubhouse presence. And now your clubhouse presence is primarily Jazz Chisholm, who I would say is not the best clubhouse presence to have.
Yeah, you still have Gene Segura though, like
That's
veteran,
fair.
but been around the league. It's just he hasn't been established in the Miami Marlin clubhouse.
Yes.
Um, and so as you kept mentioning earlier, this other move the Marlins made.
Yes. You want me to go?
Yeah, you got it, man.
I got it. I'm excited for this move. I mean, the Marlins didn't need to do this, but like he just fit. Johnny Cueto is a Miami Marlin. Like he just fits in the Miami Marlins clubhouse. I think he'll fit well. Personally, I wanted him to go to San Diego because I felt like he could have helped kind of. Brad looks very angry at me. I feel like he could have helped kind of med that clubhouse animosity. But Johnny Cueto, Miami Marlin, 1 year, $6 million contract with a 2024 $10.5 million club option, or he has a $2.5 million buyout, which guarantees him 8.5 million through the length of this 2 year contract, pretty much.
Yeah, I kind of like the move, honestly, because you keep hearing about how the Marlins are going to trade some of their pitching depth. Um, this opens two avenues. The Marlins fail, which is what they're going to do, and aren't competing at the time of the trade deadline, and Johnny Cueto gets moved. And I could 100% see that. I could see a team that's kind of on the verge of a playoff spot going out and being like, hey, we'll give you B-level prospect for Johnny Cueto. And or they trade away one of their prospects or one of their young pitchers or Pablo Lopez, right? And Johnny Cueto gets into the rotation and secures them where they're not kind of looking for minor league to major league innings and rushing prospects through the system. This has more benefits than I think, or I thought initially, because
Mhm.
I saw this and I was like, Marlins, we told you to get a bat and you signed a pitcher. But you know what? This isn't the worst move they could have made.
I mean, I definitely agree. I like, I mean, obviously I'm a huge Johnny Cueto fan. I've loved him throughout his entire career. So him going to a team like Miami, I think it's a good spot for him. I just think the Marlins could have done better, and I think Johnny Cueto could have gone somewhere better. When you look at it like that, it's very beneficial to the Miami Marlins if they decide to go out and trade him.
Yeah. And I think definitely a possibility. Obviously, I don't know the details of this, but he could have been getting lower offers from better teams.
Exactly.
And he could have gone here and guaranteed himself 8.5 million over the 2 years. And or it could just be 8.5 million over this year
Yeah.
and get himself onto a contending roster. Because there's a very unlikely possibility, but there's somewhat of a possibility in this universe that the Marlins are somehow competing for a wild card spot. But there's there is a very, very, very low chance, but there is a
Yes.
possibility. But there's a higher possibility that a team at the trade deadline is like, hey, we need pitching depth. We need to get our guys, like our aces, our ones, our twos, our threes to get a little bit more rest. And we could just use some rotational depth going into the playoffs. What do you want for Johnny Cueto? And the
Yes.
Marlins like, you
Exactly.
know what? We'll take an outfield bat because we need anything we can get at this point. And there you get it. You get value because you get a pitcher that's going to let your prospects mature in the minor leagues, and you get a prospect who may be something in the major league level.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think when you look at it through that lens, it's a really good move by the Marlins, and it's a really smart move by Johnny Cueto.